Hey, Brennan here. Welcome to the channel, and thanks for tuning in. Well, I am freaking excited. The NFL draft is about 30 days away. I'm going to be joined by Jason DiRienzo, and we are going to give you our 6 overrated rookies of the NFL draft class, all right? The rookie class here in 2025. We're each going to give you 3 names that we think these players are a little overvalued based on the film watching that Jason and I have done for the last 3 years watching these players. Playing the Devy and C2C fantasy football formats, we've been watching these players play for 3 years, so we have a really good understanding of what we've seen on film over the years. And we're going to give you 6 names, like I said, that we believe are a little overvalued. Then we're going to drop a show here in the next few days and talk about the undervalued players that we believe are headed to the NFL draft. So hit that subscribe button. Help me get to 17K subscribers by the NFL draft. I've been putting out rookie content for the 2025 class for months, and we're shortly going to start getting right into the 2026 class right after the draft. So help me get to my 17K subscribers. Let's not waste any more time. Enjoy the show. Our overrated rookies. Okay, now when we talk about overrated rookies, I always like to preface this meaning that we still like the players. We still think in some cases they're going to hit our dynasty rosters, but maybe not to the point where some others out there believe. So I'm going to let you kick us off, Jason. Who is your first overrated rookie that you feel going into this final stretch of the draft class here that you think could be a little overrated right now?
For me, and this is the guy that you and I have evaluated for quite a while, like the rest of these guys, but you and I have seemed to be on the same page trying to find what the hype is, and that's going to be Stanford wide receiver Elic Ayomanor. Not that I don't like him, and not that I don't think he could translate to the next level, but being the value that I see with him as I've seen him at wide receiver 5. It looks like keeptradecut.com has him at wide receiver 8. I got him at wide receiver 21. And it's just because he's that bigger receiver. He did run in the 4.4s at the combine, had a down year last year at Stanford, but I can't totally blame him. There were some erratic throws from his quarterback, and that system didn't really use him properly. But, I wanted to see him attack the ball in the air a little bit stronger for his size. I wanted to see more urgency within the separation. I don't want to see just a natural just possession guy. And even yards after the catch, I was kind of looking for more. So to me, can he be viewed as a wide receiver 2 by a lot of people? Yeah, I see him more as a 3-4. I just don't see the hype on him. And I think where he's getting valued in the top 10, there's definitely other guys I would definitely want to be taking over Elic Ayomanor. So he is my first overrated player in this NFL draft.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like I said, you and I have been watching the All-22 film on this guy for quite some time, and I was surprised as a true junior he came out. So
Yeah,
I
me
was
too.
I
Yeah.
was really thinking he would come back. But it's that same frame, right? I got him at. I'm looking at my big boards here on the draft big boards, and I got him at wide receiver 13. So you really got him buried at number 21, and like you said on
Yeah.
Keep Trade and Cut, he's number 8, and I've seen him in the about top 10 for for other ranks that
Yeah,
I've,
it seems
I've
like
seen
that's
out
pretty
there.
consensus. So I'm definitely lower, which is probably why this is the easy one for me to go to right now.
You know what? Since you went wide receiver first, I think I'm going to go out of order on my list, and I'm going to go with another wide receiver, very similar, Trey Harris. All right, he is my wide receiver 11 right now on my
Oh,
big
wow.
boards. I guess my question when I watch him, okay, we watch super productive 5th-year senior, right? He's the prototypical X
Yeah.
receiver in this draft, okay? On Keep Trade and Cut.com. We're just going to reference this, website. It seems to be pretty active right now. He's a wide receiver 6 for a lot of people, all right, in the top 10. And when I watch his film, super productive. He's got that X receiver skills. He's got the ball skills. He's got the length, right? My question is, watching the All-22 film, and you and I went back and just watched it recently because we did his film probably 3 months ago, was we were talking about what kind of separation is he going to get consistently, right? And I struggle with
Mm.
these 6'3", 210, 15-pound receivers. They're really struggling. It's challenging for me sometimes to watch these guys because I don't know if he's going to be a Keon Coleman kind of draft pick or is he going to be a Cedric Tillman, right? I mean, similar in size, they're the outside boundary receivers. But does he have the athleticism to separate consistently in the NFL? I don't view him as a wide receiver 1 on an NFL team. I think he's a complimentary wide receiver, maybe 2 at best, most likely 3. I mean, so I'm a little more down on him. Like I said, I got him at wide receiver 11. Could be too low, but I think there's other space creators in the wide receiver room that I like better than Trey Harris.
Harris on the film, it's interesting that you say that. I saw him hip to hip with a lot of defenders, creating separation. Kind of, if he's going down the field, they stuck right with him. It was the release package I felt a little bit better about. But yeah, these
Mhm.
bigger wide receivers, man, it's really hard to nail down. I think it comes down to scheme, fit, and coaching and how they're going to be used. So that might be a good call overall. I'm going to go to the quarterback position, and Rob and I talked about this guy in depth last week on the
Yep.
pod, and that's going to be Jackson Dart. I have my QB5. I've seen him anywhere between QB2. It looks like Keep Trade Cut has him at QB3. My biggest concern is just this, not just the system, but I mean, taking snaps under center. I think he's going to have to really sit and develop. I'm really concerned that he's going to get drafted in the first round, and a team is going to ruin him because he really does need to sit there and learn. Anticipatory throws were well inconsistent from the film I saw. I watched the George game and the Florida game, like I talked about last week, and there were so many inconsistencies, which is how he was throwing his receivers open. He's a first read guy, gets the ball quickly, but if he has to go through progressions, man, it all breaks down. If he's under duress, he will throw the ball. He will stand firm in the pocket, but a lot of times, if he's got maneuver and get himself out of harm's way, he is just squandering. The footwork and mechanics break down, just like a lot of the quarterbacks in this class. So I honestly think that I don't want to see him go and get picked as a starter. I would much rather see him get picked outside of round one, sit and learn like the rest of these guys, because I think that's how you're going to set him up for success and not failure. I just don't want him to be a starter year one on a team.
Is it Kenny Pickens 2.0? Is that, or Kenny Pickett
Oh
rather
man.
2.0?
I
I don't
think
know.
he's got better skill set than Kenny Pickett,
You're right.
but it's the same thing. I just really feel like that you don't want to throw him out there right now. He won't be ready.
Well, that would be just the organization's got to do a better job. They got to know what they've got in the room. They
Yeah.
should definitely let him sit, wherever he is drafted. But yeah, he seems to be that late rising darling. We always get these this
Yeah.
time of year before the draft. 2 months out, with the media gets a hold of somebody and they kind of rise them up because they need another player in that position. And Jackson Dart, as we know, the quarterback class is very on shaky ground, to say the least, here in 2025. All right, so my next player I want to talk about is might surprise a lot of people, but it's going to be Kaleb Johnson. All right, I got him right now at RB7 on my big board's rookie running back board. And I went back again and watched the all 22 film that you and I did. And I remember actually sending
Mm,
you the all 22 film cut-ups, Jason, and was saying how disappointed I was in all
I
three
remember.
games that we watched, because it was just at the beginning. It was probably 3-4 months ago. And we were, he was starting to emerge at a big production season at Iowa, right? Third year, true junior. But man, I just didn't see any wow moments. And people are going to think I'm nuts for saying this because he had a lot of touches. I don't have his stats right here in front of me, but I don't know. I just didn't see the sweet feet meter go off with this guy. I don't know if his vision and lateral ability is going to be enough for him to be an RB1 starter. Now, on Keep Trade and Cut.com, he is RB5, and he's in the top 5 for most people out there. And I guess I'm just a
Mm,
little lower than him. And I wouldn't be concerned. Like, I don't see Kaleb Johnson. Let me ask you this question.
yeah.
Did you see him as a being drafted? He's probably going to be a day 2 guy, right? Like
He is.
going in and being an
Yeah.
RB1 for a team, or like they're going to put him out there. I don't see him being drafted to be the day 1 starter in 2025.
See, I think the good news is there's a lot of teams that don't even use running backs that way anyway.
Mhm.
But you know what? When I watched him, I understand what you're saying. I don't think there's an explosive skill set to him, and I think his lateral agility is limited. But I see an intelligent runner. I see
Mhm.
like how Le'Veon Bell just kind of came out of nowhere. We didn't expect
Mhm.
it based on the athletic cap that he had, but he was still working it really well. He fell into the right system that maximized his skill set. I see James Conner a little bit with him too. James Conner wasn't overly athletic, but he was very IQ'd. He understood there was synergy between what he saw and he reacted very quickly to it. And he has that contact balance and physicality that will translate to the next level. And I like the pass catching ability too, even though it was limited at Iowa. So I
Mhm.
think there is a skill set there to be a starter. I can't disagree. He may not be the starter year one. It might take him a minute, just like it did with James Conner and Le'Veon Bell.
Mhm. I like it. So that's just, I'm going to trust my eyes on this one. I just, again, watching the film, and people are going to look at those stats and be like, wow, he had so many big breakaway runs. But man, a lot of those big runs came on gaping holes that really padded his stats. And, he was a 3-year player. He's a true junior this year, and he really didn't do much for the
Mhm.
first 2 seasons. And he's like one of these late bloomers that has this monster season. And I don't know if it was an anomaly or not, but I just think there's better backs out there that I've seen on film, and I'm going to trust my eyes. So I'm a little lower on Johnson than most people.
Totally respect it. I get it. And, I'm gonna go to the running back position as well, and I'm gonna go with Bhayshul Tuten. I when we watch the film, I mean, it's easy to like this guy. You see the breakaway speed, you see the elusiveness, you see the lateral agility that's instantaneous. But the more I started watching him, the more I realized that he is definitely just gonna be that role type player, that big playability, and he may just be that guy that gets 12 to 13, touches per game, and they better be quality touches. A lot of stuff was bounced to the outside. Didn't really see him go up the middle. I think it was Hayden Winks I heard say that he literally took no snaps under center whatsoever. So there's going to be a transition period for him going into the NFL, and the physicality too. I mean, he's definitely a competitive guy and plays physical at the college level. But from what I saw, as far as how he was breaking arm tackles, that is probably not going to happen at the next level. So to me, he's a day 3 guy, and he's going to need some opportunity to get into get an opportunity to make things work for him at the next level, and that's a bit concerning for me.
You got him at RB
Yeah, I got
15,
him at
it looks
RB
like.
15, and keep trade cut has him at 11, so probably within that same range. But he seems to be a climber right now, and I think that might be a mistake with so many of these guys that I'd much rather take. Damian Martinez, he deserves to go up, or Bashal Tune might need to come down.
I got Damian Martinez ahead of Johnson. So I
Oh,
got
you know what?
I got
I love Martinez. I can't even say anything about that.
I got Tuten here looking at my big boards at number 11 too. So I guess I'm on the keeptradecut.com bandwagon there, but certainly respect it. I get it, man. Listen, he went down to that combine and just killed it, and people are
Yeah.
rising him up for the speed,
And he
but
looked
you
good at
got,
the Senior Bowl too, so I
yeah.
can't deny that. But how it's all going to translate to an NFL offense going up against defensive coverages, we'll see.
That's the big question now, isn't it? That is the
Yeah.
big question. So my list, I want to talk about Mr. Devin Neal. All right. This guy was super productive. All right. I just don't see elite traits. I see guys, I mean, especially even on our big boards Slack chat, guys are loving Devin Neal, talking RB5. One guy was on Twitter the other day, and I was, poking around, and he was, RB3 and stuff. I got him an RB12 in this class. So I have him pretty much lower. I think he's a good navigator in traffic. He's had some explosive moments. I'm a little concerned about his physical play strength at the next level.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
see him as a bell cow. And being in a top 5 running back class, you'd think that most people, if they have him ranked that way, think that he's going to come in and be a bell cow. And I just don't see it. I think he's going to be part of a committee. He's got some good trades. We're going to do his rookie scouting report here very shortly. Cut.com has him at number 7. I'm a little lower on him than RB12. I think there's a little bit for 3 or 4 other backs right now that I think are a little bit more well-rounded after watching the film than Devin Neal. So, like I said, I'm just a little bit lower on him than most people.
I think when it comes to Devin Neal, with the way I do my final dynasty ranks is I have them as not a priority to draft if I think they're going to need a minute to develop and get an opportunity at the next level. And that's Devin Neal. He's just solid all around. Like, I think he's going to
Mhm.
be a solid role player for a very long time because he's a very good running back, but there's just not any special traits. And that physical play strength, I kind of agree with you. It's not, he's more elusive than he is an actual power back, which is
Right.
interesting for his size. So yeah, I
Yeah.
can't disagree with that.
And there's so many backs right in this class and in previous classes where you dance between you got the physical traits, but then you got the space creation traits, right? So, and like a lot of guys are stuck in the middle, and you need both to be a really good running back in the NFL. And
Yeah.
usually, when we're talking about backs in this part of the draft and ranks, they're short on one of those traits to make it really to our dynasty rosters to be consistent starters. And this is what we're talking about, is dynasty rosters and them getting on our
Right.
starting lineups come September. So there you guys got it, man. There are 6 players that we feel, or maybe we're just a little less high on than consensus out there.